Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at an interesting little film. This is Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Now, this is one of my favorite films. Yes, it's Disney. As I've said in various videos, I can't escape Disney. This is old Disney, though. This came out in '71. It was, however, in production around the same time as Mary Poppins. So that's one of the major connections, is had our author of Mary Poppins and her massive psychosis. No, we don't particularly like this author. The author of Mary Poppins was very, very crazy and very, very nasty. T.L. Travis was not a good person. But had she not granted the permission for Disney to do Mary Poppins, this would have been done around the same time. But, however, this was kept in production. They were kind of going back and forth for a long time. This eventually came out in 1971. It was actually supposed to star. They did offer the position, eventually taken by Angela Lansbury, to Julie Andrews. She originally said no, and then she changed her mind. But by that time, Angela Lansbury had already been cast. So she's playing opposite the same person Julie Andrews played opposite in Mary Poppins. So David Tomlinson plays interesting character in this film. So what this film is you have Angela Lansbury's character. Her name is Eglantine Price. She's an amateur witch. Yes, doing actual magic. It's World War II. And she takes in 3 orphans because the Blitz is happening. They're bombing London like crazy. So she lives out in the country. And she's trying to get in contact. She's been taking this correspondence course in witchcraft. And the teacher, she's the very end. She needs this one more spell, which essentially it makes inanimate objects move. And that's going to be her contribution to the war effort. And she hasn't been able to contact him. She has these 3 orphans. She actually turns one of them into a rabbit briefly. He blackmails her into, little boy blackmails her into, he's like, I will keep your secret if you give me something. So she gives him a bed knob off her father's antique bed with a spell on it that allows them to move through time and space and apparently dimensions. We'll get there. So they go to London. They meet her professor, who's kind of a bit of a warlock. He's also kind of a bit of a con man in London. And basically he tells her this last part of the book is missing. I bought it in Portobello Road, which goes to, again, this is originally developed back in the 60s. This is 1971. There are music numbers throughout this film. So various songs. They eventually find, I don't know if they find the paperback, but eventually they get somewhere where they see where it's at, and it's in this cartoon land. So again, the connection to Mary Poppins here. They originally kind of were uneasy about doing this film because of the cartoon element and the green screen kind of situation, which again you see in Mary Poppins when they do the penguin sequence and the carousel thing. So they do this again in this film, and they go into this world where they're trying to get this. They have this underwater song, and then they have to compete in soccer to get this amulet away from this lion. And of course, it's an anthropomorphic lion. They're in cartoon land. They're amongst the animation. So eventually they get this amulet, which has the incantation on it. But of course it disappears when they get back in their real world. But I think Eglantine had either written it down or she had memorized it, so she knows it. And what they ended up doing with it, and it's kind of an interesting ending of this film, is the Nazis are kind of come ashore, and she uses the magic to reanimate a bunch of old military armor and scares them away. And that's kind of the end of the film. It's a very entertaining family film. It's heartwarming. You have Angela Lansbury singing. You have Tomlin, who again, he played Mr. Banks in the Mary Poppins films. You have these 3 young orphans, and various different songs and dance numbers, because again, it was developed in the 60s, and came out in 71. So you still have, it was still very much the time where most of these family films and musicals were coming out. So it's a fun, entertaining family film. Obviously, the animation is going to be old. A lot of the film stuff is going to be old because, again, it came out in 71. It was probably being developed. It was being developed around the same time as Mary Poppins, which came out in the 60s. So it's very, very fun. It's not really scary. It's very much a family film. Yes, it takes place kind of during World War II. It's for anybody. I don't know the rating system did not exist when this came out. It's rated G, obviously. So, because again, it's fun. It's lighthearted. It's something you show to younger children. You can show it to older children as a homeschooling tie-in. One, you have a little bit of World War II, but also if you're looking at this animation and how starting to use these green screen effects and having live actors interact in an animation, it was very, very new. So this was new technology, being able to do this kind of thing, as well as some of the special effects. They're making a bed fly, so and land in various places. So you can look into this as a representation of that type of animation and that type of filmmaking, and how we obviously have it far more streamlined now. You see something like The Lord of the Rings, where you have the CGI. This was precursor to this. Or you have something like Who Killed Roger Rabbit. Don't show that to children. Don't go there. That's an adult film. I would probably not even cover it. It's an adult film. But again, similar to Mary Poppins, you have this type of green screen effect where actors are interacting with cartoons, and they have to have this very scripted. When I was looking at the IMDb page, Angela Lansbury did not like this film because it had to be scripted so closely. Everything had to be storyboarded because there's so much interaction with animation that you really couldn't stray. So she couldn't develop her character as much as she would like. So it's very different, and it's very, very interesting. But again, overall, this is one of my favorite films. I love Angela Lansbury. I do. This is probably the first film I'd ever seen her in. I do enjoy Murder, She Wrote, which unfortunately was sabotaged by, of all things, Friends. Murder, She Wrote was better. Friends was, no matter how good it was a nuisance and a nonsense show. Murder, She Wrote actually had some sort of substance, and Angela Lansbury, similar to Julie Andrews, are two of my favorite actresses, and far better actors than anybody who's in Friends, obviously. Not to mention, I believe they had longer careers. But again, it's a very, very fun kids film. It's not that long, even in the extended edition, because originally it was shorter. They extended it when they added cut scenes. It is about an hour and 57 minutes long. So, decent long feature film. Very fun, very interesting. Lots of music, lots of dancing, lots of singing, lots of very interesting things. And again, it's old Disney. It's old classic Disney. So it's fun, it's light, it's something great to put on. I think even teenagers would enjoy this just because it's just that weird. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. If you like singing and dancing in musicals, yeah, this is a musical. It's the 70s and the late 60s Disney. Everything was a musical. So, and of course you have the connection to Mary Poppins if you want to look at Disney history. So that's really it for this review. As much as I love this film, there's not much to it. It's a fun family film. So, highly recommend this. And it's late, my brain is not working. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I do films like this. I do some classic stuff. I do some more modern films. I do lots and lots of children's books and teen books. And a lot of this stuff ties into homeschooling because we are secular homeschoolers. I bought this film. I haven't actually watched it yet. I bought it to share with my daughter, who is, as of filming, 2.5. So, She's a little too young. We'll be adding more homeschooling stuff as she gets older. By the time you guys see this, she'll be a little over 3. So that stuff is coming. Slowly, it's coming. We're getting there. Along with some travel stuff. I have some stuff already posted as of the shooting of this video. This is February, being shot in February of 2022. So we're hoping to get some traveling in. So when I do those, I will definitely have them posted. So hopefully by the time you see this, I'll have at least one or two more actual travel videos. So we're actually go somewhere. So again, that stuff is in the works. So be sure to like and subscribe. And again, leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.